I run multiple businesses with AI, building, analyzing, and automating an entire swarm of AI agents, all from a single platform. And it really just comes down to 7 key concepts. Whether you're brand new to AI or if you're deep into it, I bet you're using at least 2 or 3 of these concepts. And so here is the list of the 7. You have prompting, directories, scheduling, task management, API actions, orchestration, and human in the loop. And the beautiful thing about everything that I'm going to walk you through in this video is that because everything is centralized to a single machine, you can connect to it from your phone. So any of the work that you do from your desktop is beautifully handed over into your phone. That way, when you're on the go, you can pick up where you left off. And so let's walk through each of these concepts and how you go about automating projects and use cases from within the AMUX platform. So the first thing that we'll do is prompting. Prompting in AMUX corresponds to sessions to interact with the LLMs. And so these are typically use cases, projects, etc. So on the left-hand side, you have the iPhone version, and I'm just sharing that here. That way you can understand how each of the interactions in the desktop version correspond to what you would otherwise do from your phone. And so what we'll do first is we'll create a new session. We'll call it my project, and you just define the working directory. So these are just folders within your computer. These can be existing folders. We'll call this test project. These can be existing folders, or they can be new folders. You select the provider. We'll just stick with Claude Code for now. And so we just created that session. And if you give it a second, my project is created. And so as we can see, it defaulted to a certain version of LLM. So every LLM has its own type, has its own model type. And as we can see, we now have a session that we can interact with this model. And we're calling it my project. And what we can do to organize our sessions better is we create tags for them. And so these are the different tags that I have across different projects, use cases, categories, etc. Just a better way to organize all of the sessions that you have, right? And so this session has a directory. This directory is empty. But again, the directories are just whatever you are using for your home machine, right? So we have the prompting. And so we could say, hey, I want to automatically search Google for trends associated with real estate. And so what it will then do is figure out how to go about automating this project, this task, this use case, etc. This is what you would do if you're interfacing with any kind of large language model. But the nice thing here is because we're doing everything within this directory, all of the files that it creates, all of the work that it does lives in this directory. And so that is the second part of the concepts, which is the directories. These are, again, where the sessions are creating the files, analyzing everything to do all of their work. And here it's just asking a follow-up question because it was kind of like a vague use case. But then what we can do is once we have some of these concepts and work already created, we create schedules that allow us to automatically run certain tasks at different cadences that we define. So for example, a loop is just saying, hey, every 15, 30 minutes, go about, do this thing. And this is just a prompt that you then send to your session. So let's look at an existing one that I have here. So I have, let's say, refresh-house. And so this is a project that I'm working on right now where I just want to find good valued real estate within the Washington region. And I'm setting it up so that every day I can say, hey, I want to run this scraping job to automatically find better projects, better real estate within the Washington region. And so it creates all of the files and assets, again, within this directory structure. And I could say, hey, email me whenever you find something that is valuable, or whenever it meets the criteria that I define, and run it, let's say, every day, every 30 minutes, etc. So that is scheduling. So as we've gone through so far, we have different sessions. We can organize these sessions using tags. We interface with these sessions as if we're interfacing with any other large language model. We have directories. So these are how the sessions create files, manage files, do all of their work, and it's a single source of truth, which is nice. They create text files, markdown files, etc. And then what we also have is the concept of task management. So this is really interesting because it gives us a single pane of glass, a single view that allows us to understand all of the subtasks that the agent created for this session. And so as we can see, we have backlog, to do, in progress, in review, done, verified, discarded. And I've actually created these statuses based off of how I want to define what good looks like to the agent. And so I get to define, hey, what is the constraint? What is the criteria for the LLM to automatically move from to do to in progress to in review to done to verified? So for example, what verified defines is it only goes to verified when you've confirmed via end-to-end testing that the criteria is met. And again, you define the criteria, you define how you want the session, the agent, to go through each of these tasks in the board. And the nice thing is here, because each of these has a status, it has a session, it has a due date, tags, and everything is prompts under the hood. So you can describe the agent is automatically describing what it is it's doing. And it updates them as it goes through the different states. So that's task management. And then also we have API actions. And so because each of these sessions are just large language models, you could say, hey, I want to access a third-party service like Zillow or Realtor.com, or if you have some kind of internal system, you can say, hey, I want to access that internal system to automate something and maybe do it at a certain cadence. So this is the API actions. And then we also have the ability of saying, hey, I want to work with, let's say you have another session, and that other session will say, in this case, I am pooling properties from Washington State that meet certain criteria that I define, and I want to, I don't know, update some homepage that I'm creating. Again, that's another project that I have, another use case. Update the homepage with the results from this. And this gives the session the ability to communicate with another session that might have another directory, that might have a different board, might have different schedules, etc. So these different sessions are communicating with each other, and this is what allows it to kind of have that orchestration. So you're allowing the LLMs to work within each other. And then finally, you have the ability of doing human in the loop, right? And so we call auto mode, we call it YOLO mode, because it's saying, hey, allow the model, allow the session to do everything that it wants without having to ask for the human's input. And this is important because everything that we've done before we've walked through the seventh concept is we've established concepts, we've established rules, constraints, etc. Because again, since we're using this board, we can ensure that the sessions are only going through each status, each swim lane, and passing through each swim lane as it goes through and executes its tasks. And it creates its own feedback loop to check to see if it has gone through, if it has met the criteria to pass into the next task. And so again, walking through each of them, We have prompting. Prompting is corresponding to sessions. You can create these sessions. You work within existing sessions that you create. You can search sessions. You can monitor the logs of sessions. You have directories. So these are the files that the directories create. Everything is a file in technology. Everything is a video, a text file, an audio file. The sessions are creating them, they're downloading them, they're analyzing them. Everything corresponds to a directory within a session. Scheduling allows you to automate certain tasks. So this gives you the ability of saying, hey, you can have it work while you sleep. You have task management so that you can define the gates to ensure that as the sessions go about doing their work, these sessions are only able to move to the next state when it ensures that it is accomplishing the status or the constraints for each of these statuses. API actions, again, allow the sessions to interact with third-party services. Orchestration allows the LLMs to work with each other. And then finally, human in the loop for when you want to be entirely hands-off and just check back in occasionally to ensure that it is accomplishing all of their tasks according to what you want to define. And the beautiful thing about all of this is you can do all of this, everything from your phone. You've got the directories, you've got schedules, you've got boards, terminal, everything is entirely workable from your phone. And so this is AMUX. AMUX stands for Agent Multiplexer. And if you want to learn more about how to use AMUX, go to amux.io. And again, my name is Ethan. This is everything that I've been doing the last 6 months to manage all of my businesses. And these businesses span different industries. We've got technology, we've got real estate, and we've got marketing and content. And so everything can be created using AI, and this gives you the highest form of leverage to build your own use cases, your own projects, your own automations entirely from your phone. And the beautiful thing is that everything improves as the AI improves, because you get to just select, hey, I want to use a new model. I want to use a new vendor. I want to increase the reasoning over time. And so this is AMUX, allowing you to build, manage, and run your business entirely from your phone.